what used to happen is when I'm coaching people, I have realized and I've seen that most of the people who are capable are not in a position to market their candidature. When I say marketing their candidature is basically the value proposition. So when I'm talking to people, I see that yes, absolutely everybody has all the skills that are required. Maybe a little bit of honing is required, but in terms of what the employer needs, each one of you have. This has been over the last 40 years that I've seen. And many times when I'm coaching people, they say that, I understand what you're saying, but I have not been able to present my value somewhere. Now that somewhere is the dark spot, which is something which I realize that most of the people do not know where they are going wrong. They do know that yes, there is something I'm bringing out valuably for the employers, but somehow they are not able to pinpoint as to what exactly is it that is not making the employer tick in terms of why is it that they don't get an interview call? Why is it that the employer feels that I have a career gap? Why is it that I can't make an industry shift? Or why is it that I am the one who's just applying everywhere but still not getting interview calls? That dark spot is basically being limited in terms of marketing your value proposition. Now that marketing your value proposition is very critical. While all of you guys will have the best of the capabilities and each one of you have your own unique strengths, which I can see when I'm coaching people. But when it comes to marketing, that means presenting your value proposition in the right corners, somehow we are not able to do that. And that is what precisely I'm going to teach you today in this session. I'm talking about how do you market your value proposition to potential employers. And there are certain elements of marketing which strategically you can use, and I can assure you, stay with me in this session, and by the end of this session, you will be in a position to carry home some concrete tools which you can immediately apply and start giving structure to your entire approach of doing a career transition. I have spent 40 years of my career. Initially 18 years were in the corporate industry, so I myself have done 5 career pivots. From pharma to media among the top leading companies like Times of India, Indian Express, ZTV, where I was a senior vice president heading sales at a national level. And then I became an entrepreneur. I launched my own recruitment agency called Aspiration. And for 15 years I did that. And for the last 7 years I'm into career transition coaching. So I've already done these 5 career pivots, which is what I teach people now. Now, if I may ask you, just to drive home the point, that if you were planning hotel stay for your family, you all were going out for a family trip and you had to book a hotel. If you had to book a hotel, what is it that you would buy? What is it that you will purchase in that hotel trip when you're talking of going for a family trip? So I ask this question and many people say I'm buying an experience, I'm buying a room, I want the hotel to be neat and clean. So they give me 2-3 pointers like these. But when it comes to giving the money and what you're getting in return, it is not only the hotel room. There are basically 7 P's. We are talking of the product, which is the room clean? Is it comfortable? Because that's what you're purchasing it for. That means the room. Second is price. Is it giving me that worth if I'm purchasing that room by paying an X amount of money? Is it really worth it? Value for money. Third P is place. Is it conveniently located? Is it where I want it to be located? Do I need it to be in front of the mountains, in front of the lake? Do I need it being next to the market? What is it that I want? The third P. The fourth P is people. Very essential. This is all 7 P's of services marketing. I'm just going to be explaining to you how you can relate this to your job search so that you get the results that you want. People is very essential. That means the staff of the hotel, do they really welcome you? Otherwise, if they are not welcoming, you may still not really want to purchase that. Fifth P is process. That means what is it that you underwent in terms of booking the hotel? Was it very smooth? Was it absolutely seamless? You had a good experience there when you purchased that? Sixth is physical evidence. So when we are talking of physical evidence, how does the hotel look? How does the lobby look? Is it very neat and clean? The moment you enter, much before you're going to book the room, You would want to have that experience that everything is nice. So you see, when we are talking of so many elements of marketing in one purchase, so when you're giving your money for buying a hotel room, it is not only the room. There are so many elements of this marketing which you are using, right? Similarly, when you are doing a job search, it is essential for you to ensure that all these 7 P's of marketing you utilize to the maximum potential. When you use these to the maximum potential, only then will you be able to market your candidature effectively, your value proposition effectively to employers. And that is where most of the people find it very difficult, because they have their resume, they are making an application, they also know that they are good. They are also confident about their own value. But how do you market it? How do you communicate your value proposition so that the employer takes note of you and feels positive about you, and ultimately you land up with that job? That means you got to have this mix of 7 P's of marketing in each of the elements of your job search, very well balanced. And you got to take action on each of these 7 P's, which is what I'm going to teach you. So let's start with your skills and expertise, which is your product, your salary expectation, which is your price, just like what we did in the hotel, the industries and the role that you're targeting is the place. You're talking of your LinkedIn profile, your resume, interview. All this is your promotion, because the way you will present yourself in an interview situation, that is promoting your candidature. You got to know how to promote yourself. Your attitude, your networking ability, your references, the referrals who introduce you are all people. Then we are talking about your consistency in job search, which becomes your process. It's essential that you are consistently doing certain things every week to ensure that your job search is a great success. Your reputation, your achievements, your recommendations, your tangible results, these are all the physical evidence. So we are talking of these 7 P's of marketing which you got to apply to your job search. Extremely essential. Unless and until you get this good mix of marketing for your candidature, you will not be in a position to attract these employers, right? Let's start with the first P. Whether you are coming back after a career break, whether you are by age you are 50 years plus and you are finding it difficult to make that transition, or you're wanting to shift industry, or you're preparing for an interview, or for that matter you're just looking for a job change. All these elements which I'm teaching you, you need to make a note as to how you will balance each of them and ensure that you can make that mark. So let's start with the first product, which means your skills and expertise. So for that, I would always recommend that start thinking like a business consultant. It's important that you wear the business consultant's hat and then approach the employer. You needn't approach the employer with a mindset that you are a job aspirant. You got to ensure that you are thinking like a business consultant who thinks about the pain points and the problems of the employer. That is where your starting point is. Because only when you understand that, then your product becomes valuable. That means you are really able to customize your product, which is your skills and experience, according to what the problem or the mission of the employer is. That's the first step. And for that, I give a very effective, which we have used for so many years, effective format of a car format success stories. It's simple: C for challenge, A for action, R for result. That means you got to write down at least 8 to 10 success stories from your own experience, hardcore experience, in this format. And what the format does, the format makes it very simple for you to ensure that you can structure your thoughts accordingly, whether you are in an interview situation, whether you are conversing with employers, or whether you are just in a networking event. If you have your car format success stories ready, it will give a structure to your entire product value proposition. We have had many examples. There was a gentleman who we were coaching. He did this car format success. He was a sales head for an enterprise sales, B2B, senior guy with about 17 years experience. Each of these stories were so well written that when he was appearing for either interviews or even telephonic conversations, he would start attracting the recruiter's attention, and he did get the job. So your product has to be balanced with your value proposition in the format of a car success. So that's the first P. The second is your price. That means what is your salary expectation? If you have too much of a high salary expectation, you will find that you're falling short in terms of even proceeding ahead with the recruiters. But if you're asking for something very low, then it's not really commensurate with what your value is. You got to find that right balance in terms of how you can solve a problem and keep increasing your value so that your salary, what you are asking for, has got objectivity, and it also takes into consideration your benchmark of the industry standards. When you do that, you will be able to price yourself well. So we are talking of marketing your candidature, the 7 P's of marketing. So this is the second P, and which is one of the most critical. It's something like, a cup of coffee which is on the roadside is available at 20 rupees. The same cup of coffee, if you go to a cafe, will be maybe at 300, 350. If you go to a 7-star or a 5-star, it will be at 600, 700. The same coffee beans, the same coffee, but how the positioning and the value proposition changes the price. So it is exactly the same thing that you got to do as a job seeker, that you ensure that you position yourself in a manner and your value proposition that you can ask for the price that you want. Right? The third P is place. We are really talking about, in your case, in terms of the place. Let me give you an example. If assuming there is a ice cream stall which has been located and placed well just outside the school in hot weather. Suppose that is the case, what would happen? You would have that sale being done immediately just outside the school in hot weather. The same ice cream shop, if it is in one of those by lanes, you will see the impact. That means the location and the place makes a lot of difference. So for you also, when you are seeking a job, your place is very, very critical. Your place, that means where are you available? Which is the target industry that you are, or the roles that you are seeking? Who are the kind of people, and at what platform are you networking? Is it LinkedIn? Is it where? Is it the seminars and conferences? These are all important events. That means the place also has to be critically observed and chosen. The fourth P is promotion. We are talking of promoting a candidature. Now, for example, if there's a blockbuster movie that's coming in and you find that that blockbuster movie has no trailer, no snippets, no hoardings anywhere, it quietly just comes. Obviously, the success rate will be low. Whereas if it is promoted aggressively with snippets, with trailers, etc. everywhere and marketed properly, you will see that the sales are up. People go to watch that movie. Ultimately, the product has to deliver. That's something which is, as I mentioned, it's a holistic mix of product, your price, your place, and then promotion. Every mix in your job search has to be there. So in your case, the promotion has to be your LinkedIn, your networking, your resume, the way you have written your LinkedIn profile. What is your headline saying? How visible are you on LinkedIn? How are you interacting with people? Right? All that promotion is also extremely essential. So that's the fourth P for you. Then we are talking about within the promotion, there's a very important element which is of an elevator pitch. How do you develop an elevator pitch? Elevator pitch is something which could be a 30-40 second pitch about yourself. That means when you're introducing people to someone, or you're networking, or over a telephone somebody says, okay, the first question the HR is asking you to make an assessment, that just tell me a little about yourself. In that 30 seconds to 40 seconds, you got to attract the attention of that recruiter, even over a phone call or in an introduction. For that, you need an elevator pitch, which is again part of your promotion. Elevator pitch is, who are you? What do you do? And the recruiter asks you, what's in it for me? These three parts, you got to ensure that your elevator pitch is absolutely bang on, right? Most people struggle because they don't know what to say then. If you have that along with you, you will start making progress in terms of engaging with the conversation, and it will turn out to be fruitful. And when you're talking of interviews, I had a very recent example where I was coaching somebody who's looking for a job in Dubai. And he has never worked outside India, ever. And he's almost through, but his final round was there. So he was worried about that, how will I answer a question as to, you have never worked in Dubai. Dubai has got nuances of work culture. How will you adapt to a culture like Dubai? You have never worked, and the difference is that we are all looking at local people here, not necessarily Arabs, but people who are based in Dubai. But yes, we are open to people there. But I want to know how you will adapt to this culture. Assuming that is the kind of interview question that comes up, it becomes difficult for somebody if somebody is not prepared, and which is part of promotion. So what I advised him, I said, you are at a level where you have roamed about the whole country professionally. You have gone to Orissa, you've gone to Bhubaneswar, you've gone to Calcutta, you've gone to Kerala, you've gone to Tamil, so many places, Punjab. And in India, there are so many countries within a single country. That's uniqueness of India. So I said, when you've been able to adapt to a Punjab, you yourself being a South Indian, you've been able to adapt to Orissa and Calcutta and so on and so forth, or even Maharashtra, you've been able to adapt to nuances of the culture, because people don't realize it that in India, within a single country, we are so many countries. Now, when you give that answer and prove it, that in spite of you being able to be posted across so many places and successfully delivering results, it means your adaptability is getting demonstrated. And when your adaptability is demonstrated in one place, you can carry that and transfer the same thing to Dubai. Point is that with what confidence you tell the recruiter your own value is also very important. So that's what, when it comes to interviews and you're promoting your own value, you got to be very clear, for which there is again that car format success stories, which we give to people. That is the next one. Now we are talking of the fifth P of marketing, which is people, which means you're talking of your network, you're talking of your mentors, you're talking of your referrals. Very important, because without you being a people's person, not being able to connect with people, you will find that even if you have taken care of all the other aspects, I'm giving you a formula which is absolutely bang in. That means your 7 P's of marketing, the way services is marketed, you got to market your candidature for job search. So if you're talking of people, let's take for example in a restaurant, the food is very good. But while the food is very good, it can happen that, the waiters, the service is not so good, the service is getting delayed, the food is coming delayed, they are not really attending to you while you are wanting somebody to service you. The food is good, but still, if that service part, that means the people part, is something which is not really a very delightful experience, you may think twice, should I go to this restaurant again? Similarly, when you're not really well equipped with the people, the referrals, so that you don't land up with informational interviews just because you did not prepare well, if that is the case, then in that case you will still fall short. That means this P is not balanced. We had a person named Ronnie who was returning to India from abroad. He used his entire alumni to ensure that he did a full homework in terms of how India is looking at and about the industries, about the jobs. And in spite of the fact that he was away from India for so long, he did finally land up with a job using this networking with the people. Very good people skills. Sixth P is process. For example, if you're on an online shopping site and you find the process, that means the payment is not getting through. You try once, you try twice, thrice, 4 times, you will get fed up because the process itself, the site might be good, you might want to buy the product, but you will move on to somebody else. Something similar happens if you don't follow a disciplined process for job search. That means on a week-to-week basis, every week, what are you doing for the next 8 weeks has to be written down and followed. If you can follow that religiously, continuously, you will find that at the end of, say, 45 to 60 days, you will start seeing dramatic amount of progress in your job search by getting the job that you want. But that process has to be followed. And for that process, there has to be a structure, which is what we devise. So you got to have a structure where in week 1, you have your target employers listed. You can make a note of this. Then you have, in the next week, after the target employers, you got to start doing research on the pain points and the mission of the company. Then next week, you're talking of interacting with these people for informational interviews. That means you're using your referral, you're using your network, you are ensuring that you are reaching out to people and landing up getting more information, and then eventually before you start you're making your application, you have to ensure that you not only have information about their current challenge, but you also have information about what is it in the culture in terms of the mission that the company is looking for and how you can relate to that. That means what is the why of that company, so that you can align your own why with that. This much of information you got to have. So if you have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 for networking, and then continuously keep doing that, okay, I'll spend about half an hour every day or 45 minutes every day, and today I will talk to one employer. And if that is the kind of consistency and structure that you follow, you are bound to get results. I'll read out something which we had done for one of our clients, where he had done an outreach using LinkedIn, and it went off very well. He had sent a message first after connecting, and it got him results. It goes like this: that, dear Mr. X, I hope you're doing well. I recently read about the ABC's remarkable Q2 results, and I'm genuinely impressed by your leadership in driving growth in the Dubai market. Having thoroughly researched ABC's objective and recent achievements and understanding that you are in a growth phase, he had found out that this company is in a growth phase. They had about 52 stores and they were wanting to go to 100 stores within a very short time. Whereas he in India was already handling a very mature market, a mature category, and he was with the company for a long time. So he made that as one correlation that, okay, I have handled a mature market and you guys are at a growth stage. I'll be able to relate my experience of handling a mature market much more easily to ensure that you go from 52 to 100. That means you're going to show that value proposition, how your experience actually matches their objective. And he said, I would love to discuss my experience. He did not send his resume, but he got a call. Without the resume also, but there is a lot of research that he had done on that, which is what the process that he followed, which is what I am mentioning to you about. And finally, there is the seventh P, which is the physical evidence we are talking about. Physical evidence is something when you are booked a hotel, you walk into the hotel, you see the lobby is not really neat and clean. You seeing that maybe the places that you're sitting is not really neat and clean. If that is the case, that can be a put off. Even much before you have entered the room, it gives you a display. So the physical evidence in your case, if it is for job search, is your resume, your LinkedIn, your tangible achievements, your recommendations on LinkedIn. Are you being visible with all this? That means your physical evidence to prove or demonstrate the kind of value you have. So a point is that, in fact, we had one client who had come up with a 10-page resume. 10-page. And I literally, when I spoke to him, I understood that he had verbose written down everything that he was talking. We brought it down to 2 pages. By just emphasizing that you got to focus only on your bullet points of achievements. Don't elaborate responsibility. He had gone to elaborate his responsibility right from, he had 24 years experience. He couldn't know how to fit 24 years into a 2 pages. And that's why unknowingly, and most people miss out on this, made such a big resume, started elaborating the responsibilities, and he went beyond 10 years of experience. No need. Things are changing every day. What it was just about 1 hour back has changed now with this AI technology. So you can't have somebody, you don't have to really go into the 10-year part. So anyway, we did that and got it, gave him a 2-page resume, and he started seeing traction. So if you are really wanting to market your candidature or the value proposition to potential employers, you'll have to keep these 7 P's of marketing, which are essential. So I'll just repeat for your reference. It is product, price, place, promotion, physical evidence, people, and process. All these you'll have to work on each of these elements. You may have your skills, you may have your experience in place, but if you are not able to combine all this in terms of your effort for getting a job, you will fall short, which is what the point I was making. I once again thank you for being so patient, being with me on this, and till the time we meet again, I would like to thank each one of you for being a participant with this live session.